Hello everyone, my name is Sam and I have decided that I want to start a reading journal and post videos about books that I've read and books that I want to read and things like that, just to share my reading journey with everybody and to make friends and get book suggestions and give out book suggestions and find ones that I may have never heard of otherwise and help other people find ones that they don't know. So welcome to the very beginning of my reading journal journey. That's have to say. I'm back to talk a little bit more about me and my reading journey personally. So I'm 24 years old. I was an avid reader as a child, but then life goes on, things get in the way, going to college and whatnot, and kind of got out of it for a while, and then my life took a turn. Went to a different career path, and I got back into reading as a way to kind of escape from things, in a sense. Not that I was necessarily escaping from anything bad, it was just, when you read, you go to worlds that you can't experience any other way, and that's the beauty of it. So I got into reading again, and I kind of dove in head first, and I read a lot now. I want to say that I read about, I don't know, I think if you look on my Goodreads, it only shows like 13 books or something last year, but I definitely didn't start tracking that till towards the end. And so I think, I read probably close to 50 books last year, and I'm hoping to get at least 50 this year. I know it's not as much as some other people do, but full-time job and all that kind of stuff, it gets a little difficult at times. But I'm here for the enjoyment of it, and everyone's reading journey is different, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's part of why they call it a journey, and it's completely your own. So yeah, hopefully I can inspire others to start reading, or we can chat about books and you can give me suggestions. I'm thinking about starting a suggestion page, so people that watch the videos and you think, oh, you might like this book, check this one out, you can drop it in a link or something, and maybe I'll see if I can find it at a secondhand store somewhere, or see if the library has it and I can read it then if I haven't already. I think the big thing I'd like to do with this is read books that I find at libraries, secondhand stores. I mean, my library even has like Kindle books that you can check out. So I've been doing that, as well as audiobooks, like while I'm driving back and forth to work and things like that. I'll listen to audiobooks sometimes. So I think the goal for this channel, for me personally, is to, kind of get away from doing big book hauls from Amazon and from like Barnes and Noble and things like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just sometimes they're expensive, and there's so many books in secondhand stores and thrift stores, yard sales, things like that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start trying to find books in those places that maybe, they're not popular, they're not blowing up on TikTok or anything, but they could still be amazing books, and I just never heard of them because they're a small publisher or a small author or something like that. And so, yeah, my goal is to lean more towards that and hopefully support the charities and things that different thrift stores in the area support. And then once I'm done reading, I'd like to donate those books back either to thrift stores or give them to friends or family, or donate them to a local library, so that way other people can get a chance to read them. I don't need to keep any more, unless it's one that's like, oh, this book was amazing, it changed my life. I might keep it then, but we'll see. I never went over that. I like thriller, mystery. I like historical fiction, kind of like wartime fiction. I like Western kind of stuff. Not a huge romance person, but I think maybe I just haven't found the right niche for me yet. I'm gonna keep trying though. I'm not gonna give up on it. I want to branch out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by talking about a couple of books about a book that I finished recently. I've talked about the book I'm currently reading and my mini thrift store haul that I just did yesterday. I think there's 5 books total. Yeah, there's 5 books total, so it's not very big. But yeah, we'll get started with that. Okay, so book number 1 is Let Him In by William Friend. I just finished this book, I think last night, maybe it was this morning. I don't know. I was up late reading. And I've got my reading journal that I keep, and I will kind of go into some of my thoughts and stuff about it, give a little short synopsis. Hopefully no spoilers. See, I borrowed this one from the library, local to me, and so it's came out in 2023, and it's 228 pages long, so, you know, fairly short book, really quick read. I just love that cover too, by the way. Like, look at that. Those are people. It's kind of eerie, kind of haunting. It's marketed as a horror fiction, I would say kind of like a psychological thriller in a way. So it's essentially about this man, Alfie, who has 2 twin daughters, Cassia and Sylvie. So their mother, Pippa, but she is referred to as Pip throughout most of the book, unexpectedly passes away, and most of the book is kind of dealing with how Alfie and the 2 girls are dealing with their grief. And the girls have this, what everyone assumes to be an imaginary friend that shows up, and kind of eerie things start happening. They refer to him as Black Mamba, and they have kind of like that twin connection where they're kind of thinking the same thoughts and finishing each other's sentences. And it kind of adds to the eeriness of the book, I think. Now, for me, it wasn't so much like psychological thriller. I'm like, these kids, they're dealing with grief and they have an imaginary friend. And that makes sense. And a lot of weird things are happening, and like nightmares and stuff like that. And a lot of it can be chalked up to grief, which is kind of what happens in the book, I think. But then more and more stuff starts happening, and it starts to become more and more and more unbelievable. And it's just keeps like stepping up. And then, so Pip was also a twin. Her twin, Julia, is still alive. Julia is a psychologist. And so she comes in to start trying to figure out what's going on with the girls, because Alfie's like, something's wrong, Black Mamba, he's weird, I don't like what's going on with the girls are acting strange. And she starts trying to get to the bottom of it. And so they all kind of have to come together and face their grief all together and get past this monster that's, you know, hiding under the bed, waiting in the dark. So yeah, it's a decent book. I really like it. I would say that I give it about a 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. Some of my thoughts on it, it's less of a thriller, kind of keep you up at night kind of book, and more of a, okay, where are they going with this now kind of book, if that makes sense. Black Mamba is such a strange name for the imaginary friend. I don't know if it's like in a reference to something, but I was just like, Black Mamba? Like a snake? I don't know. It's an odd one. So certain scenes, Julia and Pippa's dad is talked about, and there are scenes where like he walks around the house carrying a rattle and like shaking it and taking pictures, and it's like, what is a rattle? It's kind of odd. I don't know. Just kind of a weird visual, I think, for that. So I will say, like, it was a good book. It was an easy read, and I enjoyed it. Saw some of the twists coming, but, you know, not every book has to be like, oh my gosh, spectacular for it to be a good book. It's still a good book. It's just, I think there were some things that could have made it a little more thriller-y, if that makes sense. I do think this is William Friend, the author's debut novel. And so for a debut, yeah, it's really good. So good job. I hope to see more from this author in the future, and maybe more thriller-y type stuff will be coming next. Okay, so next is going to be The Curse of Penryth Hall by Jess Armstrong. So I'm currently reading this one right now. I started it this morning, and I am already most of the way through it. It is really good. Like, it's a, I want to figure out what the heck's going on kind of book. I don't actually have, like, a full synopsis of it yet because it is still a work in progress. So hopefully if I finish this tonight, I will add an update to this video and we'll see where it goes. But some thoughts for now. Ruby is the main character. She is working for a man at a bookstore and she's sent to deliver books. I will say it takes place in post-World War II era, but it sounds like very close to the end of the war because Ruby has talked about being a nurse during the war and seeing a lot of carnage and things like that. And so she, you know, has dealt with things like of a gruesome nature, and so it doesn't affect her quite so much. And so she's sent by the bookseller to a town where one of her ex-friends lives, and she like swore to never go back there because the way that friendship and come to find out, almost relationship, well, I'd say almost, it sounds like it was a relationship, like there's bad blood there because the way that relationship / friendship ended. And so she swore to never go back, and now she's coming back. And while she's there, the woman that she was in the friendship / relationship with, Tamsin, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Tamsin. Yeah, so she is married to this not so good guy. But he comes up dead unexpectedly, and so now Ruby is kind of put in the middle of a whole investigation kind of thing, and is trying to prove to everyone that it's not a curse that has been on the family line for 300 some years. I think 300 years, like for generations there's been a curse on this family. And Ruby's like, no, it's not a curse, things like that don't exist, you know, I'm going to prove it to you, he was killed by an animal or a man or something like that. And so she's working with a man called a Peller. He is kind of like a witch, is kind of how they describe it. He's like able to hear her thoughts and things like that throughout the book, which is odd, to say the least. But yeah, so he is trying to go around and figure out if it is the curse, and she's trying to go with him to prove that it's not the curse, and then they both kind of start doubting each other and dealing with that. Yeah, so I borrowed this book from the library as well. It is 324 pages long, and it came out in 2023 as well. So hopefully we shall get to the end of this. I'm only about 130 pages, 140 pages from the end. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, so now that I've gone through the books that I read recently and the one that I am currently reading, hopefully finished by the time this video goes up, I'm going to go through my little mini book haul that I've done and kind of decide like an order for the next book, and hopefully I will have them read within the next like 2 weeks or so. We'll see, work schedule and all that, and just life. I wish I could sit in my house and read all day. I really, really do. I mean, I have cats here to keep me company, and like they, I'm sure, would love for me to just sit at my house and read all day because, yeah, I mean, let's see. So my husband and I went to a local thrift store, and he was helping me pick out books, and was trying to help me push the boundaries a little bit on what genres I read. Some of these books are going to be interesting. Again, I absolutely judged books by their cover when I picked these out because I know nothing about these. And yeah, so I know they're not supposed to do that, but I did anyways. And we shall see how that goes. Okay, so anyways, let's start with this one. This one is called Florida Woman by Deb Rogers. I just love that cover. Look at the little dude, he's cute. It's so bright, and I think that's part of what like drew me to it because, you know, the bright and everything. I'm just like, oh, that looks like it could be like a cute little summer read. Turns out it looks like it's going to be a kind of mystery, like an unintentional mystery of sorts, like, because there's something in the synopsis about how, you know, she's going viral for an outrageous crime she never meant to commit in the first place. So it's like, I wonder what she did. The book is relatively new. Let's see, it came out in 2022. And I want to say it's roughly 340 pages is what it looks like. So decent read. But yeah, so I think this is my first one. And I know, not really branching out, going right into kind of a mystery kind of thing. But it seems kind of campy, like in a good way. Like one of those like mysteries where it's like nothing too deep, but it's like, oh, this is cute. This is cute. I like it. So I'm really hoping that's what this is. And I could be completely wrong, but we'll see. All right, so book number 2 is Finding Jack by Gareth Crocker. So see that there's a dog on there. But yeah, so this one seems to be a little more serious. Like I think it's a work of fiction, but it's based on real life events. It's based on like Vietnam War era, where a soldier who was a dog handler, I believe in Vietnam, was forced to leave his canine there. And it's kind of the story of how he, like what he goes through and how he tries to go find this dog that he worked with there. So it could be deeper, more serious, but you know, again, I'm up for it. I want something different, and it looks like a good book. Let's see, what's its stats? It came out in 2011, and it looks to be 289 pages long, roughly. I hope I got to the right page at the end. I'm just kind of flipping through it, so it's not super serious, but yeah. So next, we're going to go with this one. It looks like another cute little summer read called Heart and Salsa by Suzanne Nelson. I like the artwork on the cover. I want to say this might be like part of a series because it has like this on it. It says like students across the 7 seas, and so I kind of wonder, like, it could just be art on the cover. Absolutely. I haven't looked it up, but I think it might. Maybe there's like a series or something that covers that. I might update that if I figure that out. This looks to be kind of like a romance in a way, because it's like she's supposed to be going on like a study abroad trip with her friend, and her friend brings a boyfriend she didn't know about, and so now she's like, oh, I'm going to be building this orphanage here by myself, even though my best friend's supposed to help me. And then she meets a guy, and she's like, I don't want to deal with that. So we'll see how this turns out. It looks cute though. Came out in 2006, and it is, let's see, 215-ish pages long. So yeah. All right, and now we are down to our last 2. I'm just gonna show the covers off for both of these. Cowboy romance. Look at this. Or I had my husband with me to help me pick out books, and he's just really throwing curveballs at me. So anyways, we're going to go with this one. Let's get this guy out of the way. It's called Along Came a Cowboy by Christine Lynxwiler, maybe? So it says a romantic showdown in small town Arkansas. I don't even really know what to say to this because cowboy romance is not really my thing, obviously. And like, I don't know, it feels kind of weird having like a dude on the cover like that. I'm trying to branch out, trying different things. Maybe it's a great book. I don't know. So let's see. It came out in 2008, and it is about 303 pages long. So yeah. Cowboy romance. And last but certainly not least, we have this one. I love the foliage on the cover of this. It is The House on Fortune Street by Margot Livesey. This one, I don't really know what it's about. It seems like a potential like group of friends, or like a relationship, and there's issues like possible infidelity, it seems like, and it was published in 2008, and it's 308-ish pages long. So that concludes the list of my books that I'm hopefully going to read the next 2 weeks and upload reviews of. Hopefully I get through all of them, but you know what? I'm just here for having fun and reading books and talking about books because it's fun. So anyways, yeah. Hope y'all have a good week. 2 weeks, and I will hopefully see you soon and have more books to read, hopefully from my bookshelf this time, and probably from the library.